Just conscious of the clock there, so let's try and squeeze one more in. Next question. Looking at just Hunter Clade specifically, what is the optimal way of building a roster for take all comers, specifically tournaments?
Okay, great. So this is a question from a Patreon that's after some unique advice focusing around Hunter Clade. Now, it's been a little while since I've played Hunter Clade, but I've got a bit of experience, but I'm going to kind of lean on what a lot of other people do as well. So I think they've correctly identified that actually Hunter Clade is one of those teams that roster choice is quite important, because you can't fit everything that you want on it, right? So you can't have the Rust Stalkers with all the options and the Infiltrators with all the options and all the leader options and all, you just can't do it. You run out of space. Personally, the way I like to play Hunter Clade is I like to lean heavily one way or the other. So when it comes to the Sicarians, you have the Rust Stalkers that are really good in melee, and they're quite good at achieving double kills, and they ignore the traverse penalty and that sort of stuff. So they can move up the board quite fast. Or you have the Infiltrators, which are better at turning off rerolls and sort of slow playing your enemy a little bit. So I think there's certain matchups where you want each one. I think you just have to go, okay, I personally think you just take 5 of each. I think probably some more players might say you could probably run it down to 3 Infiltrators, and knowing that you're always going to take 2 Rust Stalkers maybe. But I think for CP efficiency and all that sort of stuff, you want to try and maximize where you can. I think you just take 5 of each. I think you always take the ceaseless stud carbines. The damage difference really isn't that much difference on the flechette launcher, and the range reduction you get on the Infiltrators is really frustrating. So having that infinite range is just so useful. So I think you just give 5 power weapon stud carbine Infiltrators on your roster if you want to lean fully into that. And then I think probably you run 5 Rust Stalkers with rending. And the reason I say this is because there's a lot of matchups where the rending is critical for your ability to kill models. And I think you need to more so than the balanced. And so I think you run it that way, and you take the fight twice ability and you take the balanced inherent in the team in melee when you need it. I think that's probably how you run it. So that then gives you options that if you do that, you then have enough options on the rest of the roster to be able to fill out every other option that you need. And note that I think generically you take the Vanguards with the exception of the Gunners for the order flip on TP1, whatever it is. But generically, you just the leader, you only take Vanguard, you don't take Ranger, right? But that then lets you have all the options you need. So I think that's probably how I would try and skin it. It is a difficult team to play because of that reason. I don't think I've mastered it, and the meta definitely has changed. But I think the way you've got to build it is I'd almost look at the key matchups or the most common matchups based on meta that you think you're going to take, and ask yourself what Rust Stalkers what Sicarians am I taking in this battle? And if the answer is that 80% of the things you're taking, let's say the Cord Claw and Transonic Razor for the balance on Rust Stalkers, well then maybe you take that. But if you're going, actually what I really need to take is the Transonic Blades because I need the rending because I'm playing against commandos, and if I don't get 2 crits, then they're going to just scratch the first one, and I'm not going to be able to kill them, right? Because 4/5 isn't enough. And if I take the Infiltrators, I'm probably not going to get enough damage through with just 4 attacks. So actually, I need to fight twice. I need 4/6 rending, and rolling 6 dice with a reroll is enough to guarantee a rending or to make it likely. It's probably how I try and skin it. Is that. So I think you take 5 and 5 and you just lean hard into one play style and go, right, this is what I'm going to go with. And and it's going to work in most of the instances. And then as you start playing tournaments a bit more, you might go, actually, I'm going to maybe drop down to just 3 infiltrators, and that's going to give me an option for 2 more roster slots to maybe have a bit of flex in the Rust Stalker loadout potentially. Is probably what I would do. Other changes that have happened is, I guess now the Arquebus is less valuable, so you can maybe drop him now, which I hadn't thought about until just now. And that would give you another roster slot or 2, I guess. So I have more think on the Arquebus, but that's my gut feeling. But let's chat about it in the Discord as well. Drop me an @ and we'll see what we can think about. Hopefully that answers that one, Connor.
Yeah, gleaming. Thanks.
Is that all our questions for today?
We've done all. Yeah.
That brings us to the end of the episode. Hopefully you found something new or useful while listening, and if you did, throwing us a like would be greatly appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss any episodes, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the bell so you get notifications as soon as the next one drops. It really is the best way to help a small channel like ours. And if you can't wait and you do want early access, we have a Patreon where you can get exclusive access to all our content ahead of time. As always, we'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback. So drop a comment below and we'll get right to you. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host Ryan. This has been Turning Point Tactics, and we'll see you next week.